Predicting an October surprise right before the election. Doesn't mean they're going to actually stage something. They could just use an event and spin it the way they want. And we've seen Paul Pelosi, the embattled husband of Nancy Pelosi, and the billions, not hundreds of millions they've made off insider trading deals, reportedly attacked late last week by a man with a hammer. But they held up the details of it for a while and said, well, he was in his underwear. And then, well, the glass was knocked out from the inside out. And then somebody unnamed let the police in the building. And the police didn't tell us until today that they found both men in their underwear in Paul Pelosi and Nancy Pelosi's bedroom. She was off in D.C. So I guess when the cat's away, the mice play. And this is looking more and more like some type of homosexual interlude or rendezvous. And I'll give it to Paul Pelosi. At least it wasn't a kid that was in there. It's a 40-year-old man. So my issue here is how they've spun the whole thing, put up fake websites that he was a right-winger when he was a leftist, nudist, big Democrat supporter on record. That's all been confirmed. And the websites put up Friday saying he was a right-wing QAnon person are not true. So maybe they weren't gay. They were just hanging out in their underwear with hammers. And then here's the most important point. When Paul Pelosi called 911, we're going to play that tape for you here in a moment. He said, I know the man, and listed his name. So he knows the man and lists his name, but then goes, oh, and tells the cops, actually, I don't know him, when he figures out how that sounds. And the police are obviously controlled by Democrats there in San Francisco. They won't even respond to regular crime. And so they waited until Sunday to release today that Pelosi is refusing to release surveillance footage to them, and Paul Pelosi was in his underwear in a bedroom with him, and that he'd gone in the bathroom and called the police, but then come back out and joined the man. Then they began to hit each other with hammers again, and the police aimed guns at him and said, put your hammer down. And the younger man did not put his hammer down and continued to try to attack Pelosi, but they didn't shoot him because they could obviously tell this was some kind of weirdo stuff going on. This has come out now from the police, but it's getting almost zero news coverage. But here, what they've released so far. They haven't released what Pelosi said. It's just the dispatcher telling police what Pelosi told him. We need to get that full tape released. Here it is.
Our officers observed Mr. Pelosi and the suspect both holding a hammer. The suspect pulled the hammer away from Mr. Pelosi and violently assaulted him with it. Our officers immediately tackled the suspect, disarmed him.
Northern 4 car, A priority 910, 2640 Broadway, cross of Scott and Normandy. I have a 14-hour copy. RP stated that there's a male in the home and that he's going to wait for his wife. RP stated that he doesn't know who the male is, but he advised that his name is David and that he is a friend. RP sounded somewhat confused.
Units code 3 at 2640 Broadway for 14-hour.
Ever 12-hour copy. 15-hour also code 3.
Ever 112 advising sufficient units on scene 2640 Broadway. Special call medic 56, location 2640 Broadway, cross of Scott and Normandy Terrace. This is code 3 as a second medic for a second patient. Special call for RC1. RC1 location 2640 Broadway, cross of Scott and Normandy. This is for the code 3 medical aid requiring 2 medics, control channel C2.
So what do you want to bet this never hits court and this gets quietly handled? 2 men in their underwear with hammers in a bedroom. There's a full police press conference on this, but you've got to really dig to find it. We can play the whole thing if you want. The police have guns on them. Both men. Paul Pelosi has police aiming guns at him. The police come in to the bedroom, and there's 2 men in their underwear with hammers. And the police say, drop it. And the younger man doesn't and continues to try to attack Pelosi. What in the hell is going on here? This is not someone breaking in and saying, where's Nancy Pelosi. I'd give it about a 99% chance this was some kind of weird, wacko stuff going on. But that isn't the issue. These are two adults, and I'm against violence. I saw all the left celebrate. Literally, I got clip after clip when Rand Paul got 6 ribs broken, a lung punctured. And they said, good, too bad this guy didn't kill him. Senator Paul comes out and says, this is terrible violence, it's a bad thing, we're against this, and the left says, too bad you didn't die again. Mostly peaceful protest. And so all over CNN, MSNBC, Washington Post, New York Times, he is a right-winger. It's the new January 6th. Well, they said January 6th was worse than Pearl Harbor and 9/11. Peter Strzok said on TV 2 weeks ago that 9/11 doesn't even compare to January 6th. Yeah, 3,000 dead. January 6th, 4 dead patriots, no dead cops. 9/11 doesn't even compare to this. Well, then I guess they'll probably say 9/11 doesn't compare to Paul Pelosi in his underwear with some dude with hammers in their bedroom. And who is the unnamed person let in the police? If I had to speculate, and it's not hard to speculate if you've studied the lifestyles of these folks, they were both on cocaine or meth. And they were going crazy, doing God knows what to each other. And one of them got pissed off at the other one. And things went haywire really, really, really quick. And if you question that, you're called a conspiracy theorist. Well, all they do is lie to us. All they do is have a history of fraud. So we would be insane if we didn't question what's going on here. Here's some of the memes that came out. You can see the full press conference and listen to the 911 tape if you want at Infowars.com. Police dispatched Paul Pelosi, said he doesn't know who the male is, but advised that his name is David and he's a friend. Paul Pelosi attacker lived in Berkeley hippie nudist colony. NBC News, David DePapa was able to get into the Pelosi bedroom where Paul Pelosi was. Third person wasn't home. Elon Musk fact-checked Hillary about the truth of Paul Pelosi attack, and Elon is right. And then here's some of the memes. Paul Pelosi crime scene video. I love this Spirit Halloween costume meme that just keeps giving and giving. Home invader includes 2 hammers, underwear, gay pride flag. Berkeley stands united against and lube. And of course you've got from The Shining, the little scene with the adult teddy bear with the aristocratic man in the bedroom. Is this release footage from Pelosi's house before things got crazy? That's called satire media. We're not being serious. Rex Chapman calls Rand Paul a little bitch for wishing Paul Pelosi a speedy recovery. And it goes on and on and on. All right, we're going to start the second hour. Let me tell you what's coming up then. I want to get into the New World Order master plan, why they're doing lockdowns, why China's got new lockdowns, why they want to bring lockdowns back here, and what the digital world ID, social credit score, cashless society is going to mean. That's all coming up. And then we have the Russians officially saying they have evidence that British military working with NATO blew up the Nord Stream 2. And there's a big viral video. One version of it has like 10 million views. Whether it's about pushing against vaccinations, promoting Alex Jones, Kyrie Irving doesn't care about the impact of his words. He's just a wealthy, entitled individual who wants the benefits of existing in a society without responsibilities. And so they're demonizing him. He's responded to tweeting this video that I can't even count up how many views it's got. I mean, some versions have 15 million views. There's dozens of versions with millions of views. It's safe to say this has got 100 million views. And it's 20 years ago, a minute and a half clip where I just lay out the future that would be unfolding. So I thought we'd actually play the clip everybody's talking about, and that Kyrie Irving did not apologize for posting on his Instagram. That's all coming up. And then the Biden administration's done something very special. Biden administration accuses Arizona officials of trespassing for trying to secure the border. The illegals aren't trespassing, but they are. Hour number 2 straight ahead. Send the live links out from Infowars.com/show. All right, I'm only going to air part of this very important 7.5-minute piece by John Mound. It's on Band.video, the Pelosi's October surprise. Then we're going to come back, and I'm going to plow into the latest COVID news and the whole cashless society endgame of this and how we stop it, and then all the new pushes for censorship, war, and more. But here is part of the report that is, again, at Band.video, that is so critical. Only way it gets legs, only way it's birthed into existence and reaches other people in the info war is you. The Pelosi's October surprise, here's part of it.
In the wake of breaking news with little details, it was only a matter of hours before the Democrats' Mockingbird media had begun to politicize and twist the narrative of the attack regarding Paul Pelosi.
Story tonight, new warning from law enforcement of a heightened threat to the midterm elections and the safety of elected leaders.
Investigators say DePappy had planned to tie up Paul Pelosi and wait for the speaker to return home. Mr. Pelosi was taken to the hospital. Representative Pelosi's office tells us he underwent a successful surgery to repair a skull fracture and serious injuries to his right arm and hands.
Tonight's bulletin from the FBI warns of a heightened threat fueled by a rise in domestic violence extremism driven by ideological grievances. Potential targets include candidates running for public office, elected officials, election workers, and others. The FBI warns the threat will continue even after Election Day.
Clinging to the far-right January 6th boogeyman myth in order to desperately forward a campaign of stochastic terrorism.
We have to understand that, this attack was most likely done because of that rhetoric being spread. Like, that's my prediction, is that we're going to find out that this was someone with very far-right motivations and someone who follows people like Tucker Carlson, like Ben Shapiro, like Matt Walsh. That's my prediction here.
Tucker Carlson has one of the largest platforms in this country that spreads his white nationalist message to millions and millions of impressionable viewers every day. The right wing wants you to believe that public schools are an indoctrination center for communist theory. I wish they were, but actually people are not learning such things in school.
As the clock runs out on the 2022 election, an outcome which could not only bring a response to the corporocratic neo-Marxist cancer festering in the American body politic, but also result in prosecution for a host of Democrats that had avoided scrutiny, including the President of the United States. The October surprise was imminent.
It's reported that the same chant was used by this guy they have in custody that was used on January 6th. The chant was, "Where's Nancy? Where's Nancy? Where's Nancy?" This is despicable. There's no place in America. There's too much violence, political violence, too much hatred, too much vitriol. And what makes us think that one party can talk about stolen elections, COVID being a hoax, there's all a bunch of lies, and it not affect people who may not be so well balanced? What makes us think that it's not going to corrode the political climate?
The alleged attacker, David DePappy, a Canadian illegal immigrant, had spent his time in Berkeley, California, making hemp jewelry and contributing to Bay Area nudist activism at a residence replete with a rainbow flag and a Black Lives Matter sign. However, they dared to deny the implausible narrative of 9/11. Not exactly the far-right extremist Nazis they would have us believe. DePappy was a product of. According to KTVU, DePape had supposedly had with him a manifesto that contained anti-government COVID beliefs and a list of other politicians he planned to target. Additionally, the media had immediately derided DePape's online writings detailing COVID vaccine danger, the Great Reset, and the epidemic of pedophile normalization.
So we have real live thought police, not in a book like 1984, not in the old Soviet Union, but here in America and in Europe, run by the ADL, run by the socialist parties, funded by the big corporations that want to silence their political opposition, that are saying no to the tyranny they're pushing. And so 10 years ago, Sandy Hook happened. The internet didn't believe it because it was all political and a lot of it looked scripted. I looked at some of the evidence, said, yeah, it could be staged. They staged a lot of stuff. It was never a big issue for us. We barely covered it. Then 4 years ago, they sue us. The judges find us in default. And then once I saw what happened, it was all organized like a big machine with the media and PR groups and think tanks and Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama and just all of them, Beto and Biden, all attacking me. Alex Jones. And what he did to the poor children's families and how he sent people to harass them, and none of it was true. So they couldn't have a real trial because that would be shown. So they found me guilty and then had a 5-week in Connecticut, 2-week in Texas show trial. And so Kyrie Irving, well-known successful basketball player, months ago puts out a tweet that was already viral with tens of millions of views. Now it's approaching God knows what, all the different versions out there. Where I, in 2002, did a video podcast where I exposed what they would build in the future and how they would release viruses to take control of society. And so Kyrie is asked a few days ago in a press conference, now viral, with tens of millions of views, well, why'd you do this? And then, why'd you post some anti-Semitic thing that was just simply talking about a bunch of northern Africans who were Jewish? But that's on record. Ethiopia, you name it. He says, listen, I'm just putting out links that are interesting, just like you're asking me about this very same topic. Are you now bad bringing it up? And I get it. Kyrie's under a lot of attack. So he says, I don't agree with Alex Jones hurting and traumatizing people that lost kids. I didn't. They got political. They got involved with Obama. They came out against guns. People all saw it and thought something is weird here. Just like Jussie Smollett. But that's not the issue. The issue is they want the control, whether you are Kanye West, or whether you are Kyrie Irving, or whether you are Tucker Carlson, to demonize you. What's Tucker Carlson talking about? The federal government says by the 15th of November, we'll be completely out of diesel fuel, and over 80% of freight and systems, energy, you name it, food, electronics gear, medicine, is delivered by trucks, by 18-wheelers that are diesel. That's what he's talking about. And the ADL says he is Hitler. He is a Nazi. I don't want open borders. You're a Nazi. I don't want to be forced to take a shot. You're a Nazi. I question the election. You're a Nazi. It's ridiculous. And major national Jewish groups and the largest rabbinical organization in America have put out letters to the head of the ADL saying, stop it. You're turning everybody against us. It's not Nazi to be against diesel running out. It's not Nazi to be free speech. Stop it. But the left doesn't care. They want to list all their enemies as Nazis. And then outlaws. Censor us. So before I play the Kyrie Irving press conference clip, let's actually play the clip that he tweeted, and you decide for yourself from 20 years ago how evil this really is. Or is it really good? Is it really the truth? Here's the viral clip.
Facts and common sense are in. Yes, there have been corrupt empires. Yes, they manipulate. Yes, there are secret societies. Yes, there have been oligarchies throughout history. And yes, today in 2002, there is a tyrannical organization calling itself the New World Order, pushing for worldwide government, a cashless society, open borders, total and complete tyranny, where human beings are absolutely worthless. There's 6.25+ billion of us, and the globalists have said it many times. There's too many of us. We're causing a problem. We need to be culled at the tune of 80%. It's amazing to talk about that, but it's the globalists, the UN, their own public statements, and they've convinced a lot of liberals and elitist conservatives and others that by going along with this, that we're intelligent members of society. It's the ultimate Malthus worldview. It is this radical, virulent form of social Darwinism. It's the excuse of tyrants. And by creating open borders where there's no national sovereignty and only global bodies that control all the resources, by centralizing and socializing health care, the state becomes God, basically, when it comes to your health. And then by releasing diseases and viruses and plagues upon us, we then basically get shoved into their system.
And I've got to find the full clip because about a few months ago, somebody found like 30 minutes of this, and I going everything that's going to happen, how they're going to do force injections, how they're going to lock us down. But you get the drift. This is dangerous because it's true, and it shows it was a plan. So here is Kyrie Irving being confronted. This particular Twitter version has 6 million views. I saw one with 10 million views. This has gone super viral. And they just keep attacking him and talking over him. Here's what happened.
Kyrie, while we're on the topic of promotion, why did you decide to promote something that Alex Jones said?
That was a few weeks ago. I do not stand with Alex Jones' position, narrative, court case that he had with Sandy Hook, or any of the kids that felt like they had to relive trauma, or parents that had to relive trauma, or to be dismissive to all the lives that were lost during that tragic event. My post was a post from Alex Jones that he did in the early 90s or late 90s about secret societies in America of occults, and it's true. So I wasn't identifying with anything of being a campaignist for Alex Jones or anything. I was just there to post, and it's funny, and it's actually hilarious because out of all the things I posted that day, that was the one post that everyone chose to see. It just goes back to the way our world is and works. I'm not here to complain about it. I just exist.
And to follow up on the promotion of the movie and the book.
Can you please stop calling it a promotion? What am I promoting?
Put it out on your platform.
But I'm promoting it? Do you see me in front of the title?
By putting it out there, people are going to say that you are
promoting. Yeah, put it out there just like you put things out there, right?
Yeah, but
it's not. You put things out there for a living, right?
Right, but my stuff is not.
So let's move on.
Filled with anti-Semitic
Let's move on. Don't dehumanize me up here.
I'm not doing that.
You're free to post. I can post whatever I want. So say that and shut it down and move on to the next question.
But Kyrie, you have to understand that
I don't have to understand anything from you.
But it's not me.
Nothing.
By
it's no people that you're making up, bro. Move on.
But by posting what you did.
Next question.
Anybody is
you guys have any more questions?
And they're going to say,
you guys have any more questions? Because this is going to be a clip. This is going to be a clip that he's going to marvel at. Is this any more questions?
But you're not answering the question.
No, this is another answering your question. Oh my God, let's make another Instagram clip so we could be famous again. Next question.
Kyrie, basketball related.
Well, let's talk about what Kyrie Irving's wrong about it. And I get it. You see thousands of articles a day, hundreds of videos a day for years about Alex Jones, Sandy Hook, and people walk to me on the street and they go, man, would you stop talking about Sandy Hook? I never even hardly talked about it. They kept their gun control alive and their anti-free speech movement by picking a few things out of context with me and attaching themselves to me and then acting like I'm getting rich or covering Sandy Hook. So I'm not with Alex and his whole thing on Sandy Hook, that is his big thing. It's not my big thing. It's their big thing. They manipulated you with a magician's trick. But then separately, here's the reporter bringing up the clip that he knows will get a bunch of views. But Kyrie Irving is bad for putting the clip out to begin with that was already viral. And it's what I said. Notice there's no debate about what I said in the video 20 years ago. It's not the late 90s, it's 20 years ago. So they don't want a discussion about what I said because it's true. They want to just say, oh, Sandy Hook. Hey, I think we should have open borders. Sandy Hook. They shouldn't take our guns. Sandy Hook. I don't want you to force me to take a shot. Sandy Hook. I want my First Amendment, Sandy Hook. While they lie about WMDs and kill everybody everywhere and say Madeleine Albright's great, she said, yeah, I killed 500,000 kids, I'd do it again. The left are using psychological warfare against you. They hate you. Coming up in 40 minutes, Harrison Smith for 2 hours, live, Sunday live. Takes over to take your calls, cover the news, and more. So anybody that turns on mainstream corporate media hears white people are the devil, Tulsi Gabbard has left the Democratic Party because of their race baiting. It's so incredibly obvious. And the group mainly running all of this racism and racial division is the new Nazi Party in America. You never expect it. That's why it showed up that way. The Anti-Defamation League is now the closest thing to Adolf Hitler's Nazi Party we have. I'm not just saying that for effect. I mean, think about it. They use racial politics. They want censorship. They want to take the bank accounts and jobs away of anybody like Tucker Carlson or Alex Jones that disagrees with them. And they want the 45th president of America banned and put in prison. And what is the outcome of their brainwashing that Obama and the globalists have pushed? Here's a clip. Do white lives matter? This is what New Yorkers had to say. And this is white people and black people who've been brainwashed into racial identity saying, I don't care about white people. As if white people get penalized, you get ahead. But if they can sell one group to hate the other group and take their rights away, we all lose our rights. And there is the sickening, evil ADL at the very heart of this, with big tech, the Democratic Party ganging up on us, with the Republican leadership sitting there with their thumbs, you know where, doing nothing. Here's a clip.
Do white lives matter?
White lives? It's a bit of a tricky question.
No, not in the slightest.
Yes, they tried to censor the truth.
No. Why not?
Black lives matter.
I really don't give a about white lives.
We're gonna get really political. I don't want to go there.
All lives matter. It should.
No. All lives matter for y'all. I'm glad that brother put that out there because he started a whole bunch of conversation.
Man, you're hard to talk to.
Really? Why?
Because you're making me think that all my answers are wrong.
There's no right or wrong answer. It's just your opinion.
Is the minute almost up?
So the good news is the ADL's failing. Only a few of the white people and black people bought their racist garbage. All lives matter. And if we don't stand together, we fall separate, as Benjamin Franklin said. Nasty, nasty, nasty people.